Hey guys, what's going on? So today we are checking out Shiva. In the last update we got fire, water, and wood. We previously had light and dark. Light you can just get through fusion, and dark I guess out of a light dark egg. Jesus Christ, good luck on that though. But yeah, on my last review video we went over Shura. A lot of you guys said the gems popping up was useful. I'm not sure if that was sarcasm or not, but I guess I'm going to continue doing that. It is a bit extra work, but if it adds something to the video, then I'm happy to do it. But without further ado, let's start with the Fire Shiva. It looks like he's a stunner and a healer. So, 3-star skills, same as Fire Arthur, 100% chance to stun. So this is always really useful for Astromon League. And then he has a Wood Valk-like 5-star skill where he just heals allies' HP, depending on his own HP. So I think that's also a pretty nice 5-star skill. He can act as sort of a side healer. He is a defender though, so that kind of renders that a little less useful since his base HP won't be as high as a tank's, for example. Then again, the Wood Valkyrie is just a balanced and not a tank either. Same with Water Persephone. Water Persephone actually was a tank. She got kind of nerfed into a balanced type. Her heals are still good though, and I guess Shiva's will also be good, but you will have to give him some HP to take more advantage of this skill. It's really just what you want him to be. So he has a ton of natural defense. We should actually be looking at Evo 2 because Evo 3 definitely isn't attainable in the short term for a natural 5-star unit. So for natural 5-star units, we look at the Evo 2 stats because that is a realistic short-term goal with just gleams, and he has a lot of natural defense, a decent amount of HP, not too high, but it's okay. And when you get into 6-star 60, it should be over 19,000, so HP percent gems would benefit him more than flat. So yeah, both of his skills don't rely on criticals, they don't rely on dealing damage. He would be a really good Astromon League unit. Don't think he would really shine anywhere else, but he's definitely usable everywhere, I would say. But he's definitely best in Astromon League. That being said, I wouldn't recommend focusing on attack for him. You want to take advantage of that high natural defense and give him a defense gem, and if you want to take more advantage of the 5-star skill, give him 2 HP gems as well. As for substats for him, always be on the lookout for HP percent on defense gems, defense percent on HP gems, and resist percent on all gems. Those are basically going to be the main important substats for him. If you want him to do a bit more damage, try and get some attack percent substats. But yeah, that's just what I would recommend for him. So now we're going to be moving on to the Water Shiva. Honestly, I'm not liking him too much. Thirst and Recovery Down are both two skills I'm not too fond of. Even though my Fire Nightmare has Thirst on her 5-star skill, I do still like her because she also has an 80% chance of Defense Break on her 3-star skill. So it kind of makes up for it, but I've never been a fan of Recovery Down, never really been a fan of Thirst. Thirst is better than Recovery Down in my opinion, but it's still both the skills together, so I'm not really liking Water Shiva all that much, to be perfectly honest. The only place I could really see him being useful is in Astromon League though. The high chance of Thirst on his 3-star skill and it being 30% for 2 turns is decently powerful, to be honest. You can stop some enemies from getting their actives off, so you can go with a definitely more defensive team and still be somewhat safe if you plan properly. Because you know, with a high DPS team you can usually kill everyone before they get any actives off in a lot of the cases, but a very tanky team actually is more safe and less risky, except when they're doing their actives, because that can leave a lot of room for RNG. Like if you have a Water Persephone there, 80% chance to petrify everyone. That really screwed me over in one of my recent Astromon League battles. I decided to ignore the Persephone because I could kill a unit from full health to dead in 1 turn, so she couldn't heal anything anyway, but then she had her active bar full and she was like the only one left, and she kept using it, petrifying everyone, getting a full active, petrifying, killing everyone, and it went on like that. So having someone on demand on their normal skill to have a high chance of Thirst on a unit may be very useful. With that being said, he is a tank, has a ton of HP, and I would definitely capitalize on that by giving him 2 HP gems and a defense. Like again, he doesn't really seem like he's meant to be doing damage really, he's meant to be doing CC, Thirst, and Recovery Down, I guess, and he's definitely meant to be in a tanky team, so longer Astromon League battles, whittling down the health of your enemies while trying to keep everyone in line, keeping their active skills away while yours are recharging. That's the kind of team I imagine him in, and for that reason, again, I would ignore attack, go for HP, defense, and resist substats. stats. And yeah, he may be actually quite good for Astromon League with Thirst on his 3-star skill, so I've just never really been a fan of it, but I can see where it would be very useful. But anyway, we are moving on to the Wood Shiva now. Alright, we finally got an attacker up in here dealing some damage. His first skill deals more damage, 40% more, so it's the same as Water Valk's 3-star skill, just a straight damage increase there. And his 5-star skill is kind of interesting. It's a little bit lower chance than most of the other seals I've seen, only 60% on a 5-star skill, and then for 2 turns, it is a bit low, but it's, you know, it's AoE. It's bound to land on one or the other. But yeah, the chances are quite low. I mean, if we take a look real quick at Dark Nightmare, you can see that she has an 80% chance for 3 turns, and her 3-star skill makes it so where she can get off her active very, very quickly. So his 5-star skill is a little bit underwhelming, but all around I guess he's decent. The skills don't really go all that well together, to be honest. One is kind of general purpose, and the other one is mainly for Astromon League, because again, bosses can't be sealed. Regardless, I think he can be used pretty much everywhere. He's a natural 5-star, will have decent stats, solid amount of HP, solid amount of defense, high attack. How I gym him is probably more balanced, but definitely on the offensive side since he is an attacker. I'd probably go attack, defense, HP set, round off that survivability while still giving him plenty of damage output, making better use of his 3-star skill here. By the way, their leader skill is pretty dope. Unfortunately, it only works in dungeons, but it is a very high percentage amount, and dungeons are kind of the hardest places, maybe besides some Astromon League battles, but the leader skill is pretty nice regardless. As for substats, all the main ones are fine. HP, attack, defense, resist. Even crit rate or crit damage would be okay. They're definitely not necessary, but getting a bit of crit rate on him, making him deal more damage would be okay. As far as recovery goes, I guess it's fine as well as a substat, but I still think HP, attack, defense, and resist are the most important, so definitely focus on those first. So anyway, now we're going to be moving on to the Light Shiva. Actually, this one is probably the most accessible because he is obtainable through fusion, even though it is kind of a long way off for most people, but it's still possible regardless. He actually seems very, very awesome with his 3-star skill. I think it's the only one in the game that's like this, that restores 20% of his own HP and SP. That is pretty amazing, to be honest. And then his 5-star skill is just HP aggression. The more HP he has, the more damage he'll deal, which is actually quite perfect with his 3-star skill because I typically don't like very high HP units because they are way harder to heal with basically every type of heal, unless it's based on their own HP, like Light Shura, for example. He heals allies based on their own HP, but most healers don't do that. But the reason why it's totally fine for him to have a fuck ton of HP is because he'll get 20% of it back every time he attacks with his normal skill. So he'll keep himself totally healthy in most cases. Looking at the Evo 2 stats, pretty impressive, 25k HP. He's actually a bit more balanced than I believe the water one was. The water one has a lot more HP but lower stats everywhere else. This one has a bit less HP but better stats everywhere else. Since he does have HP aggression, I would recommend ignoring attack completely and going totally full HP for him. He should be able to survive perfectly fine without any defense, because 20% of whatever huge HP pool he will have with 3 HP gyms and probably the HP set as well shouldn't go much farther than 20% in most cases. Maybe against a very high level dragon they can take more than that off, but also the more HP he has, the more powerful his 5-star skill will be. That's why I recommend going as full HP as you possibly can. But also defense substats would be good and resist substats would also be good. Those in my opinion would be the 2 most important substats to try and get on the gems you're giving to him. Since he is a light type with 0% natural resist, you may want to get the conviction set or the resist set to try and help him out there, unless you get very, very, very lucky with resist substats. With light and dark units, I recommend at least 50% resist if possible, or actually with all units I recommend that much. It's just harder to get with light and dark units because most of them have a natural 0% resist. Anyway, we're going to be moving on to the final Shiva, the Dark Shiva. No idea if anyone has him at the moment. I honestly kind of doubt it. He is only obtainable through hatching a light dark egg or a light aura dark egg, the ones they recently introduced. There are some legendary light dark eggs as well, so who knows, maybe someone has one in the meantime. I think dark is probably my favorite element. I have a lot of dark units. But anyway, let's go ahead and check out his skills. So his 3-star skill is Seal, decent chance, 80%, 2 turns, and this is on its 3-star skill, so that's pretty amazing. Again, best for Astromon League, as well as his 5-star skill, which is 100% chance AoE stun. Very, very awesome for Astromon League, so definitely a pure Astromon League unit. Seems like most of the Shivas are, but I guess late game, that is where most of the competition and hard content is going to be, fighting other players, so it makes sense that the newer units are going to be more geared towards that. But yeah, really, really good set of skills here. He is a defender, Evo 2 stats looking pretty solid, nice HP, nice defense. Attack is a bit on the low side, but that's to be expected with a defender. So like most of the other Shivas, I see him being in a very defensive team, very tanky team, just killing them with debuffs and slowly taking their health away and just debilitating them in general. He is a dark type though, which means he will naturally have 100% crit damage. So it's definitely something to consider giving him a crit rate gem for that if you want to take advantage of it. Typically with dark units, I do want to take advantage of the 100% crit damage, except with someone like Darkjack because she really needs as much HP as possible to heal better. But with someone like him that doesn't have any skills that rely on a stat, I think giving him a crit rate gem if you want more damage from him is a fine idea. All comes down to your personal preference, but it's probably what I would do, to be honest. So I would go crit rate, defense, HP. With the intuition set, if you didn't get enough crit rate, his doesn't really need to be that high, to be honest though. It would just be a nice bonus damage every now and then. So I mean, depending on what you have, by what gems you were able to find for him, I would try and get him around at least 70 or 80% though. But yeah, that is kind of messy, kind of stats everywhere, because you also need to get resist. You need to try and get very, very good resist substats. Also attack substats, HP, all percent substats except like recovery. Again, I'm just not a fan of recovery. HP, attack, defense, crit rate, and resist. Crit damage is also okay, I guess. But the most important is going to be resist, followed by defense, probably. But yeah, honestly, I'm not putting that much thought into this because I'm sure that maybe 1 out of 5,000 people actually will get this unit. So I'm kind of just saying my first thoughts. You know, he's gonna have the 100% crit damage. It would be a shame to let that go to waste, so I'd give him a crit gem. He's a dark unit, he needs resist. He's a defender, you wanna take advantage of that high natural defense with a defense gem. But yeah, I guess that's about all I'm going to say about him. Sorry that was kind of all over the place, but yeah, with someone like him, it's really hard to decide gems because he doesn't really have anything that calls for specific gems except for his typing and the fact he's a dark type. But yeah, probably no one watching this actually has one, so I guess that's where I'm going to wrap it up. But I would be interested to know if you do have any of the Shivas. Have you pulled any? Have you already gotten a light one from Fusion? Tell me down in the comments below. But that will be it for today. Make sure to drop a like if you did enjoy. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks as always for watching, and until next time.